Hey there, it's Jedi, coming to you from the thriving metropolis of Rochester, New York. Welcome to Hike Over the Hill. I'm going to show you my toiletry kit, not my toilet kit, that's something separate. I have a different video on that. This is all the stuff like toothbrush, toothpaste, and that sort of thing. I'm going to take things out one at a time. I have it, I don't know if you can read it, I have it in what's called a Smelly Proof Bag. This will go in my bear sack, my sack. And this is just an extra layer of protection because there's a lot of things in here that have a very, they have a lot of scent to them, like toothpaste and mints and things like that. So let's get into it. I've got here some xylitol mints. I've talked about them before, so an extra pack of those. I've got here my toothbrush. This weighs 5 grams. You can see it's got holes in the handle. It's small, it's short, but I think it's called Shorty, actually. I got this from litesmith.com, L-I-T-E Smith.com. I'm not affiliated with anybody, just I like to plug companies where I get my gear from. So I like to brush my teeth with that. As far as brushing my teeth, these, I have a little flip top container here. These little tablets, I don't know if you can see I don't have time to shoot close-ups and stuff. It looks like an aspirin or a vitamin or something. Those are toothpaste tablets. I had a heck of a time finding toothpaste that had fluoride in it, other than the little travel tubes like you buy when you go traveling. Those are heavy because there's a lot of moisture in them. I did buy some toothpaste powder that Amazon had that was imported from India, Colgate toothpaste powder that has fluoride. But I found that putting the powder in these little things, every time I tap my toothbrush in, I get the toothbrush a little wet and I tap it in there, some moisture would be left behind and the toothpaste powder started getting all kind of gross and congealed. So I found these toothpaste tablets. I believe they're made in Germany. I got them through Amazon. They're called Dentabs, I believe. They have fluoride in them. And you chew them up, get them wet in your mouth, and then you brush your teeth. The only thing I'll say is their build is mint flavored. They're a little chalky, so it takes a little bit getting used to, but they do have fluoride, and I need fluoride in my toothpaste because of some of my dental issues. So there's that. I have here a little tiny baggie, and I've labeled it, I don't know if you can see that, melatonin. So I bring melatonin with me to help me sleep. These are, I want to say 0.3 milligram time release. So we'll see. I've got 6 of them in there if I need that to help me sleep. May or may not help. I guess we'll find out. These are, okay, I'm not going to talk about those. Maybe I'll talk about that someday when I'm just feeling defeated out on the trail. I'll explain that. You're going to think I'm a wacko. You probably already do. These are little strips of gauze. I have a little rubber band around it. Little strips of gauze, and my periodontist recommended I take that and floss behind my molars with it because it's hard to get back there with floss and to really, scrape off the tooth. So I've been doing that, behind each of my molars, and I have like 10 of them in here, so I only use one a day at night before I go to bed. I don't use it in the morning. I also have my insect repellent. I took it out of a bottle of insect repellent and transferred it into this little squirt bottle. So it's a little lighter weight, it's a little less insect repellent. Because I'm treating my clothes with permethrin, I only ever need insect repellent on my hands and my head and neck. And if it gets really bad for some reason, like the black flies in Maine, then I have a head net to protect my neck and head. So I'll only need to protect my hands at that point. So that's my insect repellent. Oh, by the way, that's picaridin. I don't like the DEET. DEET not only smells nasty, it not only feels nasty in your skin, it actually can damage your gear. DEET will melt plastic. It will actually dissolve plastic, and a lot of gear is made with polyester, nylon, sil nylon, and so on. So something to watch out for. I have sunscreen, a little tiny squirt bottle. I transferred it. This is Blue Lizard sunscreen, which is what my dermatologist recommended. This is from Lightsmith, this little bottle. I took the little squirt top. I don't know if you can see that. I cut the top off because it was such a small orifice. I thought this is kind of a creamy sunscreen. It's never going to get out that little tiny pinprick of a hole. So I cut the top off to get a bigger gauge on here so that something creamy like sunscreen will squirt out. I only ever need sunscreen, again, kind of like I need the insect repellent, maybe on my ears and kind of lower parts of my face that aren't protected by my hat and the visor. and perhaps the back of my hand. I don't expect to be in the sun a whole lot. The AT is known as a green tunnel for a reason, because you're always in the woods, or not always, but a lot of the time you're in the woods, and it looks like a green tunnel ahead of you. But there are balds to cross and there are ridges to cross, so I will be exposed. And if it's a sunny day, I know it can get pretty brutal out there in the sun. So I've got that just as a backup. I have a little tiny flip-top container of Vaseline, and it's labeled. I use Vaseline on my lips just to keep them from drying out and cracking. And this little thing, this will if I only use this on my lips and maybe occasionally one other thing here or there, a dry spot or something, this little thing will last me the entire through hike. This will last me 7 months, believe it or not, because I use so little of it. I just use a little dab, a little film. This is another little flip-top container from Lightsmith, and I've labeled it Trail Toes. So this is a lubricant, an anti-chafing and anti-blister cream ointment. It's kind of like a strange, it's almost like Crisco or something. It's kind of a strange consistency. But it's made of silicone and beeswax and a few other odds and ends in there. And I like to spread that between my toes, just a very light coating between my toes and maybe a little bit on my heel before I put on my sock liners to keep the friction down between my toes so that I don't get blisters in between my toes. And I had been using Body Glide, but that comes in a stick, like a deodorant stick kind of. And that's just bulkier and heavier. And I thought, I'll just take the Trail Toes and I'll transfer some into this little thing. And we'll see how long this thing lasts. And I have the rest of the container in my bounce box, so when I need to replenish this, I can just scoop some out of that and top that off. I have my aloe eye drops for my allergies. I probably won't need those until probably the month of May, but I guess we'll see, because, you know, who knows, Virginia, my allergies might start earlier. I'm not going to talk about that either. I'll talk about that on the trail. I have a little tiny squirt bottle here. I've labeled Camp Soap. This is concentrated camp soap, and I chose I think it's Camp Suds with lavender, chamomile, and what's the other thing citronella that repels insects. The only time I'll use this, and that's why I carry such a little amount because I don't need much, I'll use this after I'm done eating, and I'll talk about my container, my cold soap container. I've already talked about it before, but I'll talk about it in another episode. But I'll use this after I'm done eating. I'll wipe out the container with a little piece of pita bread or flat bread and eat the bread. And then there's often still residue left behind, greasy, oily, maybe cheesy from mac and cheese or something. I'll put some water into the cold soak vessel and put a drop or two at the most of this because it's concentrated. It's very gel-like. I put that in there, screw the top on, shake it up real good. Going to break down those fats and oils, and then rinse it out. And I'll do that very far away from water sources. Claritin, again, it's labeled. I have a label maker, so I label all these little bags, which is kind of stupid because these bags are eventually going to split, and I'm just going to have to throw it out and put it in a new bag. But that's for my allergies whenever those kick in. These are Emery Boards. You know what an Emery Board is. I know you ladies know what an Emery Board is. It's like a little piece of cardboard, I guess very stiff cardboard with like sand or some kind of abrasive material glued to either side, and you use it to file your nails, obviously. I didn't want to bring a pair of nail clippers because they're kind of heavy and it's easy to over clip your nails, and you don't want to do that because then you can get ingrown nails, you can get split nails, and all kinds of, you can cut it unevenly and make it worse. So I thought, and this may not work, and here comes the sun. I thought maybe I would just file my nails, fingernails and toenails every day, just file them a little bit, and if I do that every day regularly, then I won't need to cut them. I'll be able to keep them short, or at least short enough that they aren't becoming a problem. At least until I get to town, I can get my bounce box in which I do have a pair of nail clippers. So if I need to, I can properly trim my nails. But this will kind of keep them in check, I hope. It'll also keep them smooth. I won't, risk ingrown nail. I won't risk overcutting my nails with this. And you want to keep your toenails especially short and smooth because two reasons. You don't want them cutting your sock. If your toenails are sharp, they'll rub against your sock and you'll blow out the toe of your sock. The other reason is you don't want long toenails that are hitting the front of your shoe when you're going downhill, because that's a good way to lose your nail. And I should know from experience, I did lose a nail after the Trans Catalina Trail, And I think I lost another nail after, oh gosh, I don't know if it was our section hike of the AT or our Cranberry Lake hike. But in any event, that's the idea there. This little thing is an interesting device called a zip ring, and it's what I have dental floss wrapped around. And the idea is you floss with it. So I don't even know where the beginning part is. I think it's, is this it? Oh, yeah. So you take off just as much as you need. You wrap one part around your finger. You put your finger through the other end like that, right? So you just have this little bit and you floss with it. And then you just snip off that little, 6-inch or 8-inch bit. In order to do enough dental floss to wrap around both fingers, you need at least a foot of dental floss, maybe even up to 18 inches. So this way I hope to save on dental floss. It's lighter weight than a dental floss container would be. It's kind of cool. It's like rubbery. It's kind of grippy. You put your finger in there, you get some good leverage on it. Anyway, I thought it was a cool idea. They're ridiculously expensive. I think it's like $12 for 2 of these things. They're worth like a nickel. But that's it, and then my Smelly Proof Bag, as I showed you. So that is my toiletry kit for the things I'm going to use on the Appalachian Trail. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.